The wedding was in 2 days, and then I saw a photo of her other wedding. It showed up on my phone at 11:42 p.m. Airdropped. No sender. Just the photo. Amira, in a white dress, holding hands with a man I'd never seen. The caption read, 4 years strong. At first, I thought it was a joke, one of those wedding memes people send around. But when I looked closer, it was her. Same smile. Same birthmark near her right ear. The man beside her looked older, maybe mid-30s, dressed in a black suit. They weren't posing for a picture. It was taken from behind a crowd, like someone was watching. I stared at it for a minute. Then I locked my phone. Sat there. 30 seconds later, I unlocked it again. Zoomed in. Checked the date in the background. The signboard behind the stage read, January 16th, 2019. I sent the photo to myself, then turned off AirDrop. She was in the kitchen, baking cookies for the bridal shower. I watched her from the hallway. She was humming, mixing batter. The same woman who just asked me which color roses I preferred for the reception. I didn't say anything. Just walked into the bedroom, locked the door, and sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't sleep. I stared at the photo. Then her Instagram. Then mine. Then Google. I searched his face. Reverse image. Nothing. The next morning she brought me coffee. Asked if I was nervous about the wedding. I nodded. She smiled, kissed my forehead and said, "It's all real now." I nodded again. She went out an hour later to pick up her dress. I waited 10 minutes, then grabbed her laptop. Same password as her phone. There were 2 folders on the desktop, one titled Us, the other titled Work. I opened Work. It was empty. I clicked on Us. Dozens of pictures. Us at the beach. Her trying on rings. Me, asleep on the couch. All normal. Then, near the bottom, one video. I clicked play. It was her. Sitting in a car, wearing the same dress from the photo, smiling at the camera. She leaned in close and whispered, "He has no idea." That's when I knew it wasn't a joke, not a prank, not something I was supposed to laugh at later. It was real, and I was 2 days away from marrying a woman who was already married. Jordan met Amira at a tech event in Austin. He wasn't even supposed to be there. His boss had a last-minute schedule conflict, so he went instead. She was working a booth for a wellness startup. Green dress, clipboard, matching lanyard. She smiled when he asked her what they actually sold. She said, "Fake calm and fancy bottles." He laughed, and they talked for 20 minutes. He asked for her number. She gave it, said, "Only if you actually call." He called that night. She picked up on the second ring. They talked for 3 hours. 2 days later, they met for coffee. Then dinner. Then a road trip to Colorado after just 3 weeks. It moved fast. Neither of them asked why. Jordan worked in logistics for a supply chain software firm. Decent job, decent salary, quiet life. Amira did freelance marketing, mostly remote, lots of clients overseas. She traveled often, but she always came back. Their apartment was on the east side. Small place, 2 bedrooms, balcony with string lights. She decorated. He paid rent. It worked. Her friends liked him. His friends said she was sharp. Nobody asked too many questions. She was charming, thoughtful, always had a story. She cooked once a week, always on Sundays. He handled dishes, laundry, trash. She handled groceries, bills, Christmas cards. They'd been together for about a year when Jordan proposed. It was at a small dinner with his family. She said yes before he even finished the sentence. His mom cried. Amira hugged her tight. Later that night, she said she already had a Pinterest board ready. They started planning fast. Booked a venue just outside the city. Old farmhouse, big oak trees, wide open lawn. Amira wanted string lights and lavender. Jordan wanted steak tacos and no DJ. Her dress fittings were always private. She didn't invite anyone along, said it was a personal thing. Jordan didn't push. She handled most of the planning anyway. He showed up for the food tasting and made a website for RSVPs. She sent him updates, links, lists. Everything stayed on schedule. Once he asked her if her family would be flying in. She said her parents weren't well and her sister was in Europe. Said they might not make it. That was the end of the conversation. Jordan figured it was complicated. They had a rule, no phones during dinner, but Amira always had hers nearby. She said it was for work, different time zones, urgent clients. Jordan accepted it. Everything about them looked good on paper. Matching goals, no drama, same Netflix tastes. They even adopted a cat together, named him Pixel. To their friends, they were the stable couple, the ones who made it look easy. Jordan called her his calm. Amira called him her anchor. They said it in front of people like it was a line rehearsed many times before. 2 weeks before the wedding, Amira started coming home late, said it was vendor stuff, said the caterer needed changes, said she had to drive across town for linens. Jordan offered to help. She said, "I've got it." He believed her. Amira made a shared folder called Forever Blueprint. Inside were spreadsheets, budgets, links to venues, color palettes. She sent Jordan the password. He logged in, clicked around, saw how much she'd already done. The first venue they toured was 25 minutes outside the city. Rustic, barn style, good lighting. Amira asked about guest capacity, open bar policy, noise restrictions. Jordan asked where the bathrooms were. The owner said they'd hosted 57 weddings last year. Amira said, "Let's keep looking." The second one had a lake, small pier, wooden benches, soft lighting along the walkway. Jordan liked it. Amira said the parking situation was terrible. They booked the third place. Stone walls, big oak trees, string lights overhead. The manager promised flexibility. Jordan signed the deposit check that same afternoon. Amira emailed the photographer before they got back in the car. Amira met Jordan's parents 2 months into the engagement. His dad grilled burgers. His mom brought out old photo albums. Amira laughed, nodded, asked about Jordan's childhood. She helped with dishes. They liked her. Jordan never met Amira's parents. She said her mother had arthritis and didn't fly anymore. Her dad wasn't around. Jordan asked once. She changed the topic. He let it go. Amira invited her friend Sherry to help with decor. They argued about centerpieces. Jordan sat in on one meeting, watched them debate for half an hour about candle heights, then excused himself. They toured bakeries, tasted lemon, red velvet, coconut, chose chocolate with almond filling. Jordan didn't care about the frosting. Amira made a note in her phone. They picked a design with lace details to match her dress. The florist showed them mock-ups. Amira wanted peonies and lavender. Jordan said peonies sounded expensive. Amira laughed, said she'd cut back on the cocktail bar. Jordan shrugged. Amira handled the guest list. Jordan added his cousins, old college friends. He noticed most of her side were listed as TBD. She said she was finalizing it. Said some people might not come. Said she was thinking of inviting a few colleagues instead. Jordan's best man was his childhood friend, Malik. They'd known each other since middle school. Malik called Amira polished, said it like a compliment, but also not. The invitations were mailed out 6 weeks before the date. White envelopes, custom wax seal with their initials, Jordan's name in bold, Amira's in script. They took engagement photos in the park. Amira wore white. Jordan wore a navy suit. The photographer gave them prompts. Walk like you're heading toward forever. Look at each other like it's already tomorrow. Amira did it perfectly. Jordan followed. Jordan. The planner sent a checklist. Amira checked off 20 items in 2 days. Jordan asked what was left. She said, "Just the dress. Everything else is handled." She showed him the ring box once, told him not to open it, said he'd see it at the altar. Jordan nodded. One night she asked him to write his vows early, said she needed to send it to the officiant for formatting. Jordan wrote them on his phone, sent them over. She replied with a heart emoji. 3 weeks out, Amira said the DJ canceled. Jordan offered to help find another one. She said she already had. 2 weeks out, she said she had to stay overnight at her friend's place, early bridal errands. Jordan said, "Okay." 1 week out, she said her tailor needed an emergency fitting. Jordan said nothing. Everything looked ready. Everything was on schedule. Everyone expected a wedding. Jordan thought he knew the woman he was marrying. Jordan asked again about her parents, this time over breakfast. He asked if they wanted to zoom in for the ceremony, said he could set it up. Amira shook her head and said her mom didn't like cameras, said she got anxious seeing herself on screen. Jordan said, "Okay." Later that night, he brought it up again, asked if her sister could join, even just for 5 minutes. Amira said her sister was in Berlin on a wellness retreat. No phones, no internet, total silence. Jordan said that sounded extreme. Amira said that's how she healed. The next morning, Jordan suggested recording a short video to send her family, a message from them both. She said maybe later. She was late for a meeting. When Malik dropped by 2 days later, he asked Amira where her folks were coming in from. She smiled, said they weren't. Too far, too complicated. Malik said, "Not even one cousin?" She said her cousins were distant. Jordan had only ever seen one photo of her parents. A frame in her drawer, buried under scarves and receipts. It looked old. He once picked it up. She asked him not to touch it. When they FaceTimed with Jordan's mom, Amira smiled, asked polite questions, told her about the flowers. His mom asked if her family was excited. Amira paused, then said, "They're low-key." Later that night, Jordan checked her Instagram. No tags, no family comments. Just old posts from trips, sunsets, cafes. Nothing personal. No birthday messages from family. No siblings. One tagged post from a woman named Sherry 2 years ago captioned "Best teammate in chaos." That was it. One afternoon, Jordan walked past the bedroom while Amira was on a call. She shut her laptop as soon as he stepped in. He asked who it was. She said it was work. He asked why she closed it so fast. She said it was private. Then changed the subject. He offered again to help her contact her mom. Said he could send a letter. Amira said they weren't that close. Said she was raised by her aunt mostly. Jordan said he thought her mom lived in Tampa. She said yes. Then walked away. She kept her phone locked, face down, notifications off. She took calls in the bathroom, in the car, during grocery runs. Jordan asked once if everything was okay. She said planning a wedding was stressful, told him not to overthink. 3 nights before the wedding, Jordan brought up her dad, said he wanted to thank him for raising her. Amira said he was gone. Jordan asked how long. She said, "A while." No photos, no video calls, no letters, no family contacts, just Amira and Sherry and stories that never matched the last one. It was past midnight. Jordan had just finished backing up the final guest list to his drive when he realized Amira wasn't in bed. He checked the kitchen. Empty. The living room lights were off. He heard something faint from the guest room. The door was closed. Not locked. He pushed it slightly. Amira was sitting on the floor, back against the wall, legs crossed. Her laptop was shut, phone pressed to her ear. She didn't see him. She was speaking in another language. Quick, sharp words. Not Spanish, not French. Something else. He recognized 1 or 2 English phrases mixed in, then more of the unfamiliar words. Her tone wasn't calm. She kept wiping her face with her sleeve. He stepped back quietly, walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, grabbed water, made just enough noise to be heard. A few seconds later, he heard the door open behind him. Amira walked in, tying her hair up. Jordan turned around, asked if everything was all right. She said it was just a family thing. A cousin going through something, said it wasn't a big deal, said she didn't want to stress him with it. He asked what language that was. She paused, said it was Swahili, said her mom used to speak it when she was small, said she didn't use it much anymore. He nodded, asked if she needed anything. She said no. They went back to bed. The next day, Jordan searched online for Swahili phrases, played YouTube clips. Nothing sounded like what he heard. That night, he checked her phone when she was in the shower. No recent calls, no chat apps open, just her regular messages. Nothing unusual. The next evening, he asked if she wanted to talk more about her cousin. She said it was resolved, said everything was fine now. The following morning, she left early, said she had to pick up the rings and meet the planner for final adjustments. Jordan stayed home, packed an overnight bag for the venue, checked his tie, charged the camera batteries. At noon, he opened her drawer to grab the spare charger. The framed photo of her parents was gone. He texted her, asked if she moved it. She replied an hour later, "Didn't touch it." That night, Amira didn't come home. Sent a voice note saying she was sleeping at Sherry's. Said they were finalizing her dress and running through makeup trials. Jordan called. No answer. He didn't try again. He stayed up, phone in hand, photo still on his screen, the one with her in another wedding dress, holding hands with someone else. 4 years strong. The morning before the wedding, Jordan woke up to no texts from Amira. No calls, no updates. Her last message was from 11:14 p.m., saying she was staying over at Sherry's. He sent her a good morning text. No reply. He called. No answer. Waited 15 minutes. Called again. By noon, he still hadn't heard anything. He dialed Sherry, straight to voicemail. He checked Amira's location on the shared app. The dot wasn't near Sherry's apartment. It was moving, toward the west side. Then it stopped at a hotel, Cedar Grove Inn. He stared at it, waited a few minutes to see if it would move again. It didn't. He got dressed, grabbed his keys, and left. The hotel looked quiet. 3 floors, beige paint, small parking lot. He walked in through the side entrance. At the front desk, he asked if someone named Amira had checked in. The clerk said they couldn't share guest info. Jordan said he was her fiancé. Said she left her phone off. Said they had a wedding tomorrow. The clerk looked at him. Asked for her last name. Jordan gave it. The clerk checked the computer. Paused. Then said she couldn't confirm anything without permission. Jordan stepped back, went outside, opened the location tracker again. Still there. Room 203. He walked up the stairs. 2nd floor. Room 203. Door closed. No sound. He knocked once. No response. He waited. Knocked again. Lighter this time. Still nothing. Then he heard movement. Not from the room, but across the hall. A woman came out with a tray. Housekeeping. He asked if she'd seen someone in 203. She looked confused. Said yes. A woman and 2 kids. Arrived last night. Jordan asked her to repeat that. She said it again. Woman, 2 kids. He asked if a man was with them. She said yes. He checked in first. Used a different last name. Jordan thanked her. Walked back to the stairs. Sat down. Called Amira again. No answer. He waited 30 minutes. Then stood up. Walked out. Got in his car. Halfway home, he opened the wedding folder. Found the document where Amira listed emergency contacts. There was no one listed for her. Just his number. No parents, no siblings, no one. Jordan got back to the apartment just before 2 p.m. He didn't turn on the lights, dropped his keys on the counter, went straight to the drawer where Amira kept her purse. Her wallet was there. He opened it. Her driver's license said she was born in Michigan, same address as their apartment. But something looked off. The photo looked newer than the issue date. He pulled out the health insurance card. It had a different last name. Not his. Not the one on her license. One he hadn't seen before. Karume. He put the wallet down and opened his laptop, logged into the joint wedding planning account, clicked through vendor emails. Most were to his email. A few were forwarded from hers. He checked the timestamps. One of them came from a completely different domain name, not the Gmail she'd always used. He copied the email, pasted it into Facebook. A profile came up. Same face, different last name. Married to someone named Elias Karume. Lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 kids, dozens of photos. One of them from a birthday party 3 months ago. Cake, balloons, Amira holding a toddler. Jordan scrolled fast. Wedding photos. A courthouse picture from 5 years ago. Same smile, same eyes. Caption said, 5 years strong. Wouldn't want this life with anyone else. He checked the comments. Family members, friends. Not one name he recognized. A woman named Ruth Karum had commented multiple times. Jordan clicked her profile, said she was Elias's sister. He pulled up Amira's banking app on the shared tablet. It was still logged in. The last 10 transactions were all in Charlotte. Gas stations, a grocery store, one payment to Little Steps Daycare. Nothing in his city. He checked her airline history. There were regular flights every 3 weeks. Round trips. Charlotte to Dallas. She always flew Delta, always on Sundays. Jordan clicked open Google Maps and typed in the daycare's name. It was 10 minutes from the hotel, the one from the morning. He picked up her phone from the charging dock, still locked. He placed her thumb on it, unlocked, opened messages. Nothing in the inbox, no threads, no calls. Everything had been wiped. He opened her photo album. The hidden folder was full. Screenshots, ID cards, a passport with the name Amira and Karume, boarding passes, a few photos of the kids. One picture was of Elias, sleeping on a couch, arms around both children. No rings, no captions. Just a date, March 3rd. Jordan went back to Facebook, typed in Elias Karume. The profile said he worked in logistics. Public posts were scarce. One tagged picture from a church cookout. Amira was in the background, wearing sunglasses, holding a plate. Jordan looked through the friend list. Scanned for Sherry. Not there. He opened Sherry's Instagram. No mention of Amira, not in any posts, not in any stories. He checked old tags. The one from 2 years ago was the only one with Amira. Nothing since. He typed Amira Karume into a background check site. Waited for results. One listing in Charlotte. Married. Registered under a shared property. Then the search returned another address. Dallas. His address. Under a different last name. 2 names, 2 cities, 2 lives. 1 wedding tomorrow. Jordan called Deji. They'd met through Amira. He was one of the first people she introduced Jordan to when they got serious. Said they'd all known each other from college. Deji had been at their engagement dinner, helped book the venue, even chipped in for the catering deposit. He picked up after 3 rings. Jordan didn't waste time. Asked if he knew about Charlotte. Asked if he knew about Elias. The kids. Deji didn't speak at first. Just breathed. Then asked where Jordan was. Jordan said he was at the apartment. Said he'd found everything. Said he didn't want explanations. Just the truth. Deji was quiet again. Then said they needed to talk in person. Jordan said fine. 10 minutes. They met in the parking lot outside Deji's gym. No small talk. Jordan stood by his car. Deji leaned on the hood. Jordan repeated the questions. Said he knew about the other name. The husband. The flights. The hotel. Everything. Deji looked around. Then said, "She told me her name was Amira Nyota when we met. This was before you." Jordan asked when that was. Deji said it was 5 years ago. Same time she was apparently getting married in Charlotte. He said they met at a party. She said she was single. Said she'd just moved from Atlanta. He didn't question it. They dated for a bit, he said. Nothing serious. She never stayed over. Never met his people. Then one day she ghosted him. Vanished. A year later she popped up again. Same face, different name. Now she was Amira Hassan. Said she'd changed numbers. Said she wanted to reconnect. By then, Deji wasn't interested. But they kept in touch. She started coming around more. He met her as Jordan's girl a few months later. He said he never brought it up because he figured maybe she had her reasons. Maybe she was running from something. Jordan asked why he didn't say anything when things got serious. Deji said he didn't think it mattered. She had stories, a lot of them. One day she was born in Michigan. Another time she said Toronto. She told people she didn't have siblings, then later mentioned a brother. Always shifting things. He said she knew how to make you trust her. Jordan asked if anyone else knew. Deji said no one from their side. Maybe Sherry, but he wasn't sure they were even real friends. Jordan asked if he'd seen the kids. Deji nodded. Once, on a FaceTime call, she said they were her cousins. Jordan didn't say anything, just stood there. Deji said he was sorry, said he didn't know it would go this far. Jordan walked back to his car, didn't look back, drove straight home. The save the dates were still on the table. His tux was hanging by the closet. Amira's side of the wardrobe was empty. Her suitcases were gone. Jordan booked the flight that night. One-way ticket to Charlotte, no suitcase, just his backpack and a folder with everything he'd found. Printouts, screenshots, her fake IDs, the marriage certificate he pulled from a public record site. He landed by noon, called a cab, gave them the daycare address first. The place looked normal. Kids playing outside, painted fence, teacher holding a clipboard. He didn't go in, just sat across the street on a bench, watched. 10 minutes later, a black sedan pulled into the parking lot. Amira stepped out, not rushed, not hiding, just regular, like she'd done this 100 times. She opened the back door. 2 kids came out. One ran up to the gate, the other hung back. Amira hugged them both, kissed them on the forehead, signed something at the front desk, then walked back to her car. She didn't see him. Drove off. Jordan followed in another cab, gave the driver a $50 bill to keep up. No questions. She drove through a neighborhood he didn't recognize. Quiet streets, big trees, houses with porches, turned into a driveway. Beige house, 2 floors, American flag on the fence. He told the cab to stop, watched her go inside, garage door closed. He got out, walked down the sidewalk, took out his phone, started recording. Front door had a welcome mat, ring doorbell. He knocked. A man answered, late 30s, tall, wore a Carolina Panthers t-shirt, looked confused. Jordan asked, "Is Amira home?" The man squinted. "Who's asking?" "Her fiancé." The man blinked, said nothing. Then Amira's voice from inside, "Babe, who is it?" She walked into view. Froze. Jordan said nothing, just held up the folder, opened it, showed the wedding invite, then the courthouse marriage record, then the daycare payment receipts. Amira stepped outside, closed the door behind her. Elias was still standing there, looked at her, then back at Jordan. Jordan asked, "How long?" Amira said, "I can explain." Elias said, "Explain what?" Jordan handed him the folder. Elias flipped through the pages, stopped at the wedding photo, one of him and Amira from 5 years ago, then another, the invite for her second wedding, this time with Jordan's name. He didn't say anything else. Jordan turned and walked back to the cab, got in, told the driver to take him to the airport. He booked a seat on the next flight out. No luggage to check, just his wallet and silence. Jordan landed back in DC around midnight, took a cab home. The apartment was cold and quiet. The fridge still had champagne from the engagement night, 2 unopened bottles. The place looked untouched, like time paused. The next morning, he sent one message. "Wedding is canceled. Please respect privacy. No explanations, no follow-ups." He sent it to his family, her family, the planner, the pastor, the florist, the group chat with his groomsmen. He didn't answer when people called, changed the locks, turned off his phone. 2 days later, he went to the venue, asked for the manager, told her the wedding was off, asked about a refund. She said they'd lose the deposit. He didn't argue. He went back home, packed her things, everything. Clothes, shoes, books, framed photos, put them in boxes, taped them shut, sent a text. "Your stuff is in storage. Unit 237. Use your birthday as the code." He didn't sign it. The wedding day came. He stayed inside, turned off the lights, didn't check social media, didn't speak to anyone. The tux was still in the closet, tags on. Receipt folded inside the pocket. 2 days later, his mom came by, knocked for 20 minutes. He didn't open. She left food by the door. The ring sat on the kitchen counter, still in its box. He didn't touch it. A week passed, then 2. He returned the suit, gave the caterer's final balance to his cousin, said to donate the meals. He called the photographer, asked if they'd already printed the album. They had. He told them to trash it. No one heard from him after that for a while. No stories, no explanations, just silence. 3 weeks passed. One afternoon, Jordan came home and saw her sitting on the steps outside his building, hoodie pulled up, eyes tired. She stood as soon as she saw him. He walked past her. She followed him up the stairs. "Jordan, please, just 5 minutes." He didn't say anything. Opened the door, left it halfway open. She stepped inside, looked around. Her voice was low. "You never gave me a chance to explain." Jordan dropped his keys on the counter. Still quiet. She said, "It wasn't supposed to go that far." He turned. "You married him, had kids with him, then planned a whole wedding with me." Amira stepped forward. "Elias and I were already separated. I didn't know how to tell you. Then things kept moving too fast." Jordan laughed once, shook his head. "So you thought lying made it easier?" She kept talking. "I loved you. I still do. That part was real." He walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, took out a bottle of water, handed her one. She didn't take it. "I should have told you earlier," she said. "But every time I tried, it felt like I was risking everything." "You were," Jordan said. "But not telling me did more damage." She sat on the edge of the couch, looked at the boxes he'd packed, still stacked by the door. "I didn't want to lose you." Jordan stood across from her, leaned against the wall. "You already did." She reached into her bag, pulled out a small photo, handed it to him. A picture of her daughter, holding a sign that said, "I miss you, Mommy." Jordan looked at it, gave it back. "That's your life," he said. "This was mine." She nodded. No more words. He opened the door. She stood, picked up her bag, walked past him. No tears, no yelling, just the sound of her footsteps going down the hall. The episode dropped on a Friday. No ads, no music, just a title. She almost married me, while married to someone else. Jordan recorded it in a friend's studio. One take, no edits. He started from the top, how they met, the coffee shop, the first kiss, the night he proposed. He didn't raise his voice once. He didn't name her directly, just said, "A." He spoke like he was reading from a list. He described the phone calls, the hotel lie, the name on the marriage certificate, the house 2 states away, the husband, the 2 children. He didn't skip anything. No emotion, no slander, just facts. "This isn't a story about cheating," he said at one point. "It's about truth, and how far someone's willing to go to protect a version of it." The host only spoke twice. First, when he asked, "Did you ever think about telling her husband?" Jordan said, "No, he'll find out if he's meant to." Then near the end, "Would you ever forgive her?" Jordan paused for a long time. "I don't need to." The episode went viral overnight. Over 1 million plays in 3 days. Thousands of comments, people guessing who A was. A few found her socials. She deactivated everything by Sunday. Jordan never responded to any of it. No follow-ups, no second interviews. He deleted the podcast app from his phone. That was his last word on the story. 1 hour, public, permanent, quiet. The offer came through his inbox. Subject line read, "Your story, national broadcast." He thought it was spam at first, deleted it. Then it came again. This time, with a name he recognized, one of the producers from a daytime network show that did real-life drama adaptations. They wanted to buy the rights to his podcast, said they'd cast actors, shoot it in 3 weeks, promote it across every platform. He forwarded it to Marcus, the friend who helped him record the episode. Marcus called right away. "Bro, this is big." Jordan stayed quiet, scrolled through the message again. "They're offering real money," Marcus said, "plus back end if it goes international." Jordan replied, "They want to turn it into entertainment." Marcus said, "It already is." He didn't respond to the email. 2 days passed, then his phone rang. The producer herself. She said her name was Lauren. Warm voice, straight to the point. "We're not trying to twist your story, Jordan. We want to tell it exactly the way you told it, just with a cast, a script, a wider audience." He asked, "Why mine?" She said, "Because people felt it, and because it's the kind of story that sticks." He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He told her he'd think about it. Later that night, he re-listened to the podcast, headphones on, lights off. Then he pulled up Amira's Facebook, still gone, Instagram, private. He opened his email again, read Lauren's offer one more time. He thought about her kids, thought about Elias, thought about the comment someone left on the podcast episode. Hope she's watching, hope she's ashamed. He closed the laptop, didn't reply, didn't delete the email either. Just let it sit there. 3 weeks after the podcast dropped, Jordan got a message on Instagram. It was from a man named Reza. The name didn't ring any bells, but the first line did. "You don't know me, but I was engaged to Amira too." Jordan opened the profile. Real person. Dozens of posts. Photos in Dubai, Istanbul, Paris. One caught his attention. A picture of Reza holding hands with someone, back turned, but the frame showed just enough. Same curly hair, same wrist tattoo. He messaged back. "When?" Reza replied almost instantly. "She said she was single. We met last year. I proposed in February. She said yes." Jordan stared at the screen. He asked, "Where did you meet her?" Reza said, "Online. She flew to see me twice. Said she was a consultant, always traveling, claimed her family was strict, that's why she couldn't post us." Jordan asked for proof. Reza sent screenshots, voice notes, a photo of a ring on Amira's hand. Same hand Jordan had held just months ago. Reza said, "She blocked me 2 months ago, disappeared after I asked to meet her parents." Jordan asked, Did she ever mention New York? Reza replied, No. Why? Jordan didn't answer. He just sat there staring at the message thread. A minute later, Reza wrote again. How do you know her? Jordan typed out 5 words. I was supposed to marry her. Then he logged off. Jordan sat with the contract in front of him. Glossy folder, TV network logo, a generous figure printed in bold. They wanted it all. The wedding? The lie? The podcast? The third fiancé? Reza's messages? Everything. In return, they'd tell his story their way. They pitched drama, casting, sets. They even had an actress in mind to play Amira. Jordan listened. Then he asked, What if I don't want it told that way? The exec across the table smiled. This isn't about what you want. It's about what sells. Jordan nodded. Then he stood up. I'm not selling it. He left the building. A week later, he opened a blank document. He typed the title, 3 rings, 1 lie. He didn't name her. No photos. No revenge. Just what happened. What he saw. What he missed. What he learned. He self-published. No press tour. No billboard. He uploaded the cover. Plain white, black text. It went live at midnight. By morning, it was trending. Not because of a scandal, not because of a twist, but because thousands of people read it and said the same thing. This feels real. Jordan never checked the reviews. He didn't care about ratings. He only cared that it was finally over. And this time, it ended his way. Have you ever trusted someone who lived a double life? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share this with someone who needs to see how deep lies can go.